The Glencairn glass is by far the most popular whiskey glass for enjoying and tasting all kinds of whiskeys neat. But is it the best? Let's compare it to something that I love even more that comes in at about 4 times the price. But is it worth it? Let's take a look and also dive into a second alternative tasting glass and find out. This is the Riedel Vinum single malt whiskey glass. I'm a huge fan of Riedel glassware and prefer it over other readily available crystal. The Vinum line of glassware was created in the 80s as a varietal-specific wine glass to enjoy the flavors and aromas of individual wine varietals. The line expanded into spirits in the early 90s, and that's when the single malt whiskey glass was born. The glass's equidistant sides and fluted top allow for the aromas in the whiskey to express themselves consistently, more like a wine glass than a Glencairn. This is one of the things I like more about the Riedel glass is the consistency of aroma that comes from the glass. While intentional and perhaps more enjoyable to some, the Glencairn's design traps the aromas, and they burst out of the smaller rim in a way that, in my opinion, enhances the alcohol rather than the aroma. The sheer rim of the Riedel glass also appeals to me so much more than a Glencairn. I'm a complete and total snob for sheer crystal. The Glencairn comes in at about $8 a glass, depending upon the number of them that you want. The Riedel, however, is $40 a pop on their site and about $60 for the pair on Amazon. So yeah, you're spending a whole lot more. We'll be doing a side-by-side at the end of the video to see if that $20 to $30 difference is worth it. Glencairn has a full range of other spirits glasses, and my favorite by far is the Glencairn Copita. Designed like a tiny wine glass or a sherry glass, the Copita is a much more traditional shape with sheer bowl and rim and a sturdy base and stem. If I'm simply doing a whiskey sampling, the Copita is the glass for me. I'm a big fan of Riedel's all-purpose wine glass for all kinds of drinks, and the Copita feels like a mini version of that. You get a fantastic swirl with the Copita, and I think the aroma that's expressed when you nose the whiskey rivals the way the Riedel whiskey glass allows the drink to breathe. You can also get the Copita with a top stopper to help keep the aromas inside, but again, I don't think it's doing much more than trapping the alcohol. The Copita comes in at $15, so more than the traditional Glencairn, but still significantly less than the Riedel. Now we've talked about 2 alternatives, so let's get in there and do a tasting with each glass and see what comes out to be the big winner. It was important that we have a slightly more objective opinion, and so internet, this is Sarah. Sarah, this is the internet. Hi. And Sarah's gonna be tasting with me as well. I have a lot of experience, obviously, with all of these glasses, but you do not necessarily. It's going to be a fun way to see if objectively this, my opinion is correct or not. So, what do you want to taste for yours? You think in Hidden Barn?
Yes. I like that
Can you grab that, actually? Got too much stuff over here. Thank you. So, Hidden Barn, small batch. This is from batch 5 of Series 1. So really, really great whiskey. So I'm going to pour you 3 little pours in each one.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is we'll start with the Glencairn, which is this one here. And just kind of get a good smell on each one, on each glass before we taste anything. And just see if you notice any actual differences in how the whiskey is being expressed. How's that look in the camera? Exactly. I think I'm gonna pour Weller for myself. Weller, green label, special reserve. Found it at our local liquor store for $40, which it's usually about 60 around here in Colorado. So let's start with the Glencairn glass.
Okay.
Do a little swirl.
Okay, can we drink it now?
Yes. So going in. I mean, I like this glass. I really do. I don't want to act like I'm bad-mouthing it or something like that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is like, I just feel like it just blows your nose open with the burn as opposed to, you know, the aroma. All right, so let's move on to the Riedel. This is the Riedel whiskey glass. Designed, I think it was designed initially for single malts, but it certainly works for bourbon. Do you notice any difference in how how you can smell it.
I feel like this one is too wide open.
Oh,
like it's
okay.
too much, like for whatever reason.
So you like the concentration of the
Yeah.
of the aromatics in the Glencairn glass?
Yes, this
Okay.
one feels a little too wide open to me. And I also don't necessarily like touching the glass.
Right.
I feel like I want to put my fingers on the stem, but there's no
But there's no stem.
to put them on.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No, you're right.
But the shape is pretty.
Yes. It's true. And I mean, I just love the sheerness of the crystal and everything, but
Oh, are we
see
not
what I'm
actually
saying?
drinking?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I'm just going through and smelling each one first because that's kind of what I want to do, but you do what you want to do. So you experience. Really?
No.
All right. So,
Well, when you drink out of it, it spills all around your mouth.
yeah. That's funny. I just made a whole video about how this is the superior glass, and it's getting F minus. That's why you're here.
Okay.
I'm a big snobby, and you're giving me
You're
some
not.
perspective, which is great. All right, let's go move on to the Copita.
I like this one off the bat because it's a little baby wine glass.
Little baby wine glass. Yeah, exactly. All right. Now let's. I might be wrong too.
I like this one. It's cute. But when you take a sip, it bonks into your... It's almost not big enough.
Right.
This one's too big. This one might be the right
It's just right for your face.
sipping size for my face. But I like the stem, the little baby
Right.
wine glass.
So if we had a stem on this body,
Yes,
you'd be
that would be perfect.
perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. I'll call some people. I'm not saying that I'm wrong, but doing all of them together in a line,
Yeah.
I can see why this is the superior glass at the moment
Okay.
on the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do this one.
And sometimes, honestly, like what really helps with, in particular when you're doing whiskey tasting, and it goes for anything like wine tasting, whiskey tasting, any sort of tasting as a somm, you know, you sit down and you spend a lot of time with different spirits, different wines and stuff. One thing that's very helpful is when it sits in the glass a little bit, you know, let it kind of coat the glass, let it live in the glass. It starts to open up, starts to do a lot of things, but also, I mean, it's interacting with its environment a little bit. And so as you taste through them, yes, the flavors get a little bit more mature and it opens up a little bit more, but also you get a little bit tipsier and everything tastes better. So that helps too.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so as far as aroma, what's number one for you?
I like this one.
The Glencairn, traditional Glencairn is number one.
Yeah.
What's number two?
This one.
Copita number two. So what's really interesting though about this, and I agree in terms of, I mean, this is just, it's a fantastic glass. I may have to go back and rewrite some of my video because I was comparing the two. But here's what's interesting is that essentially you're talking about $8 glass, $15 glass, $35 glass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
So that's our dog. Reslate. Hey, dogs. So yeah, so what I mean, this is the reason why you do things like blind tastings and stuff like that, because I think we can get a little bit distracted by our own tastes, our own palate, and also just like packaging and things like that affect how we decide if we like something.
Right.
You know, we blind tasted a couple of whiskeys. This was your favorite, and it was my least favorite. And it was the most expensive bottle of everything we were tasting. It retails at like $80. Everything
Okay.
else was around 50.
Okay.
So, while Hidden Barn's a great whiskey, it just wasn't suiting what I wanted. So that's why you do that. Because otherwise, if I knew it was 80 and everything else was 50,
Yeah.
I might have been more inclined to be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I like it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, you know, you chose your favorite as, you know, from like bottom to top in terms of expense. And mine is, you know, probably is actually the opposite
The opposite.
in a lot of ways. But comparison tasting like this, We really have to go blind, like not know what glass is and just stick your nose in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Halloween, like putting your hand in
That'd be fun.
in the eyeballs.
We should do that.
That's actually spaghetti. Yeah.
It's really anybody's personal taste and opinion
Yeah.
when it comes to anything. I think it's good to be objective when it comes to anything in life, really, because everybody's going to come at it differently.
Yeah.
And with different opinions and tastes. And
Absolutely. I mean, this, for example, we're talking that was $80 retail. This is probably, it's less. I think retail is supposed to be 30.
Yeah.
But I still prefer the Weller, for my own personal taste to that. And, I mean, they're very different. This is a wheated, and that's not. But
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just very, very interesting.
indeed.
Yeah. Glencairn is amazing, but I do personally still prefer the Riedel.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. And you got some whiskey.
Thanks for pouring me 3 glasses.
You're
of whiskey.
welcome. Get some whiskey out of the deal. All right, that's it. Now, regardless, all 3 of these glasses are a fantastic way to enjoy your whiskey. Now, I have links below to each of these on Amazon, should you think it's time to get one or all of these, and it is an affiliate link, so your use of it is much appreciated. And thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed and liked so far. You're very, very appreciated. And with that, thank you for visiting the Cigar Bar, and we'll see you on the next one.